And now, the Lafayette Food Junkie Show, served up medium rare every Sunday night.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany. Here we talk about all the food happenings around Acadiana. If you like food, tune in. You might learn something new. We have a full house tonight. We have Eat Lafayette that is joining us tonight. And we're going to have Ryan Trahan with Blue Dog Cafe and Kris Allen with Pamplona. We're going to be talking to them throughout the show tonight. Thought we were going to be able to have the guys from Wingfingers and Brodus Burgers on the show as well. I don't know if you guys have been following on social media. They have a little social media beef going on. I do believe it's all in fun, but I definitely wanted to get them on the show to discuss that. Maybe they'll be able to come in on an upcoming show. A lot happened in the food world this past week, and unfortunately, I woke up Friday morning to the news of Anthony Bourdain passing at the age of 61. He was found in his hotel room by his friend, Chef Eric Repair, of an apparent suicide. I normally do the morning show on Fridays here at KPEL, and it's normally a super fun segment, and I basically talk about, where people should go eat for the weekend. And it was a little different for me Friday morning because had to fight back some tears to talk about the passing of one of my heroes. And I know here people in Acadiana have been hit really hard by the news of his passing. I kind of want to say more of what I wanted to say Friday on air. I was a little in shock and thrown off guard. There was so much more that I wanted to say, other than that he was my hero. He did so much for food media and was just the most amazing storyteller. He did start out as a chef, but I think that his real calling in life was to be a storyteller for the people and places of food culture. And I know that when I started the Lafayette Food Junkie blog was right around the time that the Cajun Country episode was happening with No Reservations. And it was also around the time that Cochon Lafayette came to Lafayette. And it's definitely when the culinary climate kind of started to change in Lafayette. And I feel like that No Reservations episode of that show definitely changed the way outsiders see Acadiana and Cajun culture. I know prior to that, the big complaint would always be if anyone did an episode on Louisiana, they would lump Cajun country in with New Orleans, and it would kind of be combined and a little messy. And he did such a great job of setting us apart and showcasing what makes us special here in Acadiana. And I believe next weekend he came back around Mardi Gras and filmed another episode for his new show, Parts Unknown. And I believe they're going to be having a viewing of that at Jefferson Street Pub next Sunday. You can look on Facebook for more details on that. But the big news story out of that was that he ate at the Popeyes buffet 3 times while he was in town, but he also went to some of the different restaurants around here. And to say that his passing is not going to be felt is an understatement, because I've been dealing with it all weekend. And so we're gonna talk to Ryan and Kris real quick to kind of just get their thoughts and feelings on the news from this past Friday. Ryan, you want to go first?
Yeah. Actually, my executive Sue called and woke me up at like 7:30 in the morning to let me know about what had happened. I agree with everything you said. I think it would be an understatement to say that it wouldn't be felt across Lafayette and across everywhere in the country. I think Kitchen Confidential was a game changer for people outside of the restaurant industry, getting kind of that inside look in what the life of being in this industry could be. It's not always like that. I think I can speak for me and Kris whenever we say, like, we try to keep certain things out of our kitchens and try to keep a certain quality of life for our cooks. But yeah, I mean, it's a really big tragedy for people who are in the culinary community, for sure.
I realized this weekend just how many people I follow on social media that's food related, because if you go to like the search section of Instagram, it's just nothing but Anthony Bourdain pictures. Like everyone had posted about him. People were posting their pictures with him. People were posting different memories with him. And it's just he changed food media, and he had a way of showing culture, and that it wasn't just about the food. It was about the people that made the food as well. And that combines together. And when you know the food, it helps you to know the culture. And I think that was my biggest takeaway and learning lesson from watching him. I read Kitchen Confidential as well. And I remember reading that book and thinking, oh my God, like chefs are rock stars. Because from an outsider reading it, that's what you think. And it's not like that most of the time. It is, a tiny bit of it. But it definitely made an impact. I was thinking about it after the fact, too. And I feel like he was responsible for spearheading Toby Rodriguez's career. Like, I wonder if Toby Rodriguez would have come up as much as he did had it not been for what he shared about Acadiana.
Yeah, I think that's the case with a lot of people from around the globe. You know what I mean? He has definitely traveled the world and shed a lot of light on certain cultures and certain cooking techniques and certain ways of life that have influenced all kinds of food far and wide. So we talked about the rock star side that was showcased in No Reservations. Something that I talked about on Friday's morning show a little bit was kind of a side of the culinary world that people don't really talk about because there's still so much stigma surrounding it. And because the restaurant industry can be so stress-filled and high pressure and fast-paced, there is a, mental illness or mental illness problems can go along with it. Do either one of you want to comment on that a little bit? I think we're all kind of a little crazy to do what we do. Yeah,
that's what I actually was talking about on the show, and the Rob Kirkpatrick and Bernie kind of didn't even know that there was this issue, in the culinary world with mental illness. And I was like, if you think about it, like you're working all the time, you're isolated from your family and your loved ones. You're working holidays, you're working late nights. It's very isolating, just like being famous is, because I kind of positioned it to where Anthony Bourdain was in his career. So there's a lot that comes with it. And especially now that we're in the social media age, it's put so much more spotlight. We're a very food-centric country, and it puts a lot more pressure on a chef in that regard. And I think it's something that, not people from the outside don't really know about. And people on the inside kind of know about it, but maybe they're not talking about it a little much. And maybe if we start talking about it more, it'll help the situation.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, it's people think that whenever you're in this industry and you cook for a living, it's just cooking and working long hours, but it's really not. Most businesses are 9 to 5. At 5 o'clock, you go home. Even when you're a chef and you're off of work, if you're in charge of that many people in that kitchen, as long as the place is open, you're not sleeping. You know what I mean?
Right.
And most of the time, the prep doesn't take place while you're serving food. It takes place before and after. So, I mean, it's a lot of long hours. And I think one of the biggest accomplishments besides serving a good product and managing a good staff is also being able to manage your work-life balance. It's probably one of the hardest things to mesh whenever you're in this industry.
All right. And on that note, we're going to take our first break. So come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
And now we talk about food. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Deku, and we're going to talk Eat Lafayette. The campaign is about to start. It is more than just an event. I know that a lot of people here in Acadiana think it's just a one-night event, but it is. It started as a 2-week campaign in the summer to kind of kickstart restaurants, because typically the summer months are the slower months. People are going on vacation, and it was kind of started to showcase local eating here in Acadiana, and it started with 2 weeks campaign, and it's now a 3-month campaign, and this is actually their 14th year. I feel like it's been around so much longer because it's been around since I've been doing. I remember seeing it when I started the food blog and being like, oh my God, I want to go to that. I remember the first one I went to, I affectionately named the Taste of Lafayette event Fat Kid Christmas. Because it was basically you go into a room, and before last year, the only way you could go is if you won tickets from the participating restaurants or you were invited to go. Like, the regular public couldn't go. You had to kind of be in the industry to be able to go. And then last year, they started selling tickets to it, and it was at the Cajun Dome, and it was huge, so much bigger. And they kind of combined it with the Louisiana Seafood Cook-Off, which is another really cool event. And it's kind of exciting that that came to Lafayette last year. The Taste of Eat Lafayette event is going to be happening on June 19th, and it starts at 5:30, and it'll be $25 a ticket. However, if you continue listening to the show, in the last segment, we will be doing a phone-in giveaway for 2 tickets, so you guys can experience the Taste of Eat Lafayette. Ryan, what do you think this campaign is so important?
I mean, Eat Lafayette is... It works to bring light to our local restaurants and give us marketing opportunities and business revenues to be able to get people in during the slow summer months. I think they have over 85 restaurants that participate. I'm pretty sure at the kickoff event there'll be 60 plus restaurants serving food there. It's a really fun event. You know, we get to kind of think outside the box a little bit. We have some fun specials go on. I would suggest that everybody get out during these months and support your local restaurants.
And they do different specials, each of the participating restaurants. You can go online to the advertiser. They have an article that lists every single deal that the restaurants have with Eat Lafayette, or you can go to the Eat Lafayette website, and it also has it. They were telling me one of the deals is Ricky Mesh Donuts. You can get 2 glazed donuts and a small coffee for $1.
That's a pretty good deal.
That's like the best breakfast ever.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And then Blue Dog, you said, was doing like a 3-course.
Well, yeah, we're going to do a 3-course lunch special, and we're going to also do a 4-course dinner special. It's going to be a fun time. I mean, the people at Lafayette Travel, Ben, Kelly, Madison, and also Calzone, Miss Julie Calzone, they're really fun to work with, and they really do a good job with the Lafayette campaign.
Some of the new participating restaurants this year are Fiery Crab, Avec Bacon, Chadley's, and then Wingfingers, talking about them earlier. Those are some of the new restaurants. And then numerous returning restaurants. Like I said, it's up to 85 participating restaurants. I mean, it's a great way to showcase all the amazing restaurants that we have here in Acadiana. Now, Pamplona, I believe maybe last year or the year before that was their first year participating.
Actually, this year is going to be our. We did it a while back, and then I don't know why we kind of strayed away from it, but we're back in it now.
And that's exciting too. I went out downtown Saturday night, and 4 people were like, we're going to have dinner at Pamplona. And then I looked on social media, and I felt like everyone was eating in your restaurants Saturday night.
We felt that way, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, our weekends have been pretty good, actually, during the week, too. Business has been really good for us.
So the Louisiana Seafood Cook-Off is coming back again this year, and it was usually in New Orleans. I've been to it in the past when it was in New Orleans. It was part of the Restaurant Association. They would kind of have it. And seeing it in Lafayette last year was pretty exciting. Chefs from all over the state come to compete. And I remember watching it, and there was only one female chef. And I was talking to my friends, and I was like, this sucks. Like, where are the female chefs? And then she goes and wins it all and becomes Louisiana Seafood Queen. So, again, this year, only one participating female chefs. Ladies, please sign up for this. That's all I'm saying. But you 2 guys are competing this year, and you want to talk a little bit about the dishes that you guys are making?
Yeah, I'll talk about mine a little bit. We ran it this weekend, so some of the listeners might have seen it or had it. But it's going to be like Louisiana cooking just kicked up a notch. We're taking wild rice from Iberia Parish, and we're making risotto out of it with crawfish in it. We're making a Meunier sauce, which is a classic New Orleans thing, but we're using duck demi instead of veal glace. It's going to have crab meat in it, and then the summer squash and the grouper. I mean, it's a very Louisiana-driven dish.
It's a beautiful dish. I saw it on Instagram, actually, this weekend, so it's really pretty. You said it sold well this weekend, too.
We definitely sold out. It went over really well.
And Ryan?
Yeah, I think I kind of steered more towards kind of what has inspired me since I've been cooking in Lafayette. You know, the more I look around, the more I think, like, how many Mexican restaurants are there here? Yeah, so ours has a little bit of Mexican flair to it. We take guajillo chilies, pasilla chilies, and ancho chilies, and we make a buttermilk consomme out of that. And we serve a crackling-crusted red snapper. No crackling actually involved. We soak this fish scale side down with the scales on it. And we turn those scales into fish chips, and it comes with a spring vegetable and pickled crawfish tail salad, some choux pic caviar, and some creme fraiche.
So you two are the only participating chefs from Acadiana. Do you feel like that puts the pressure on, since it's being hosted in Lafayette, for one of you guys to win the crown?
I'm just looking forward to having fun.
Yeah?
These events are always...
I don't feel any added pressure. I think it's just going to be a lot of fun, and the camaraderie of the whole thing will be a lot of fun.
All right, and we want to say, again, the Taste of Eat Lafayette event is Tuesday, June 19th at 5:30. Tickets are available for $25. Or you can keep listening. On the last segment of the show, we will be doing a phone-in giveaway to give away 2 tickets to the event. And we also want to say that, yes, the Eat Lafayette campaign is 3 months out of the year, but you can eat Lafayette year-round. I mean, we have great food year-round. You don't have to have a special time to do it. We encourage you to eat Lafayette year-round. Why do you think it's so important to eat locally?
It just drives the community, the local economy, and then plus you're getting fresher ingredients. And I think that's definitely the way to go. Know your farmer, know your food kind of a situation.
So we've had a lot of commercial chain developments that have come up recently in the past year or two ago. Do you think that the Eat Lafayette campaign is even more beneficial now for the locally owned restaurants competing with the chain restaurants? Oh,
yes, absolutely so. I think since I started my career, I've been a pretty big advocate for eating locally and supporting locally, and I've seen farms come and I've seen farms go, and it's very instrumental to our local food culture to be able to support those people and to be able to make it possible for people to grow local food. I mean, if we don't support local growers and local farmers and local artisans, then you won't have that stuff. People love to go to France and Italy and Spain and all these other countries and even all these other parts of the United States and talk about the great things that they've had there. We have those producers here in Acadiana, and if we don't support them, then we will no longer have that. I think the biggest part about this campaign is to support our culture. And if we don't support our culture will die. We've seen it around the world over and over again. So we have to support those people, and we have to support our way of life, and we have to help spread the word to make sure that it stays alive.
All right, we are going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more with Ryan Trahan about Blue Dog Cafe. So come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
The best tasting radio show in all of South Louisiana. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Deku, and we are talking Eat Lafayette with Ryan Trahan and Kris Allen. We're going to be doing a giveaway when we go to this commercial break, going to the next commercial break. The first caller that calls in during that commercial break will win 2 tickets to the Taste of Eat Lafayette event. And I'll give you the phone number now, 232-1542, and I'll give it to you again before the show. We actually have someone here to answer the phones tonight. So I'm so we get to do a giveaway on the show. I'm super excited about that. Also want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Prairie Run Rice. You can get that rice locally at Champagne's. I'm still working on getting them on the show because I really want to talk to them about the rice because I really their rice is nice and I really like it. Ryan Trahan, you were a chef to watch. Was it last year?
I was.
What was that like?
It was great. Working with the people at Louisiana Cooking is always fun. Daniel Schumacher and Caitlin Waskey over there are really fun people to work with.
I remember when you started out at I'm blanking on the name of the restaurant.
Brick and Spoon.
Brick and Spoon, and then you went to Dark Roux, and then now you're at Blue Dog.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll talk about it just a quick. What was it like having to close your baby?
It really wasn't that painful, because we were working a lot of hours. I did it for
having a real baby.
Yeah. At the new job, I'm down probably 40 hours a week. So, wow. And now my little girl is 18 weeks old. I actually spent all day today hanging out with her, which is something that I would have never been able to do with Dark Roux being open.
So Dark Roux closed, went to Blue Dog, and now you're executive chef over the Lafayette and the Lake Charles?
Yes.
What is that like, being executive chef over two restaurants?
It's the same, I guess, as being executive chef over one.
Yeah. Do you have a lot more traveling involved?
Yeah, I'm in Lake Charles about 3 or 4 times a week. It's also a great city. I try not to look at it as two separate restaurants. We treat them both the same. I have my sous chef from Dark Roux, who is now the executive sous for the whole company. So we still work together. That's like my work wife,
Yeah.
And so Sullivan, and then I have Chelsea Viatar in Lake Charles, and we all communicate on a regular basis. It's a fun project,
So when you took over a Blue Dog, there was a little bit of a controversy. Some people were very angry about the changes that you were bringing to the menu. And I feel like you didn't really change the menu all that much.
We changed it. We went from 75 menu items to about 38. You
went from a Bible to like a little
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and whenever we made the announcement about Dark Roux, I got approached by Jacques Rodrigue and his wife Mallory, as well as Andre and Steve, and they were very interested in making some changes and kind of modernizing their motif, their menu, just their operations all around. And it's been very fun for me. Getting to work with people that you respect and that care about you is great. And Jacques and Andre, they treat me well, and it's fun to work with them. And I got to do the food menu, and about 4 weeks ago, we did a transition where I created all the cocktails as well. So getting to kind of get out of the kitchen and branch out and be on the floor more and work behind the bar, and it's been a fun experience.
Yeah, I've been following the cocktail progression on Instagram, and they're beautiful. And you've really upped that bar menu. I want to go and drink there. Like, they're so gorgeous. And there's like a grilled lemon.
Fire roasted lemon and lime for our margarita. So our margarita is about 30% mezcal and another 60% tequila. We also use a spicy primo pepper simple syrup in it. So with that drink, I kind of tried to embody like what the South and what Cajun country is. And whenever I think of Cajun food, I think of spice and smoke. So it's fun. It's playful.
What are some of the new menu items that you've put out?
We do a pecan smoked catfish with candied yams and an arugula and pecan salad with some Creole mustard vinaigrette. It's probably one of our best sellers. We do a lot of seafood. So we brought shrimp and grits. We now make everything in house. So we've moved from frozen seafood to things that they were buying pre-prepared to everything made in house, everything fresh, never frozen. And it's had its challenges. Whenever you operate restaurants that are 250 to 350 seats, you have a really big staff. But once the ball kind of got rolling, everything started to fall into place, and we're starting to click on all cylinders, and it's fun.
I went from seeing people just so upset about the menu changes to now people commenting and raving about the changes that you have been making. So that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, no, it's definitely exciting, you know, and some of it has to do with people just kind of being stuck in their ways and wanting their old things. And
right.
I mean, whenever you up your game and you buy locally and you buy fresh, that comes along with a certain price tag as well. I mean,
right.
The price tag isn't outlandish in any shape or form, but I mean, whenever you see what types of ingredients we're using and you know the changes that we've made, you do see kind of a raise in price. But I mean, the response as of recently has been really great.
Yeah, I've been hearing nothing but good things about it. And then they are still having their very well-known brunch, Sunday brunch, that has stayed the same. You said some changes may be coming to that in the future, but not yet.
Yeah, I mean, we're the brunch is what people know. You know, it's a set price, all you can eat. I mean, it'll stay that way. We're gonna start to bring a few things on and do a few more fun things. You know, like now we no longer do bagels, and I think that's up north. You know, like if that's where you have bagels. So now we make our own buttermilk cheddar biscuits in house. We're hopefully going to start taking on some local hams from Covey Rise Farms. So we'll be roasting and smoking our own hams. They'll be carving them off the bone in the dining room. It's just trying to bring a more southern and local Acadiana touch to what that brunch is.
One of the menu items that I've been seeing is, I think it's a catfish that's like I think it's one of the appetizer.
Catfish chips?
Yes.
Yeah, so we basically just thinly cut the catfish, fry it up. We serve it with a house-made tartar sauce and some bread and butter pickles.
Yeah, that's the one that I've been hearing a lot about. And then the crawfish enchiladas are still on the menu. Yes. They've changed a little bit.
They have.
But everyone that I've talked to that's had them said they're still delicious.
Awesome. Yeah, we just kind of tried to use a little bit more high quality ingredients in those, and they had a lot of different types of things in them, and we kind of tried to tone down on the number of ingredients that go into them. That way, you can still taste the crawfish, still taste the freshness. We're not trying to cover up all the good quality that we're trying to serve.
So going from owning a restaurant to executive chef has been very positive for you. What's it been like? Because Dark Roux was a smaller restaurant, and you mentioned that the restaurant in Lake Charles has 350 seats. The one in Lafayette has 250. To going to a restaurant of that scale, like what have been some of the challenges with that?
I think just the size of staff. We didn't really close down to change the menu, so we kind of in the beginning everything was on the fly, and whenever you come into a role like that and they're not used to cooking a la minute and cooking to order, it presents its own challenges, but for the most part, overall, I'm very satisfied. We have a very good crew, and it's been really positive.
All right. Well, we are going to take another break, and first caller during this commercial break wins 2 free tickets to the Taste of Eat Lafayette event. It's 232-1542. Call in now and win tickets. All right. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Daku, and we've been talking Eat Lafayette tonight with Ryan Trahan and Kris Allen. We did have a winner. Congratulations to Ryan Case. He's actually a very, he listens every week. He sends me emails a lot of times after the show. So congratulations to Ryan Case for winning 2 tickets to the Taste of Eat Lafayette event. That's pretty cool. I like it when my regulars call in. He emails me a lot after the show, and then I have another another guy that calls me named Dave, who wrote a book, and he was on the show. He's blind, and it's interesting. It's so cool to hear his perspective on restaurants around town, because I realize how much when I eat, it's so visual, and his is just on taste and how people in the restaurant treat him. So I keep telling him he's debated starting a food blog, and I told him that he should, like he really should. But he wrote a book. He came on the show actually, got to meet him. He saved the show one time from being canceled because he wrote an angry email to Town Square Media. So he's like our number one fan. Dave actually emailed me this week about Anthony Bourdain. I need to email him back. But Ryan also calls in and emails a lot. So thank you so much to our loyal fans out there. Kris Allen is executive chef with Pamplona. Okay, so let's start there, because I always want to say Pamplonas.
It's Pamplona.
Pamplona.
It's not a forced possessive.
Yeah.
A lot of things are around here.
And then have you heard some other interesting pronunciations of the title of the restaurant?
Yeah, people like to put A's and P's all up in there where they don't go. So it's pretty interesting sometimes.
So I can't think of anyone who hasn't dined at Pamplona, but for anyone out there who's listening who hasn't, do you want to kind of describe what the restaurant is?
Well, I mean, we're a Spanish tapas bar, so a lot of small plates that people can get and share and pass along with their friends. We're out here in the middle of Cajun country, but we offer something a little bit more out of that step, I guess you'd say. So it's fun. People can come to Pamplona and have things that they wouldn't normally have anywhere else. I mean, I don't even know any places in New Orleans that would really be in step with what we're doing over there.
It's such a cool little spot, and I think it's an amazing little date night spot. Like, that's all what I always associate it with. And then one of my favorite seats is actually on the outside of the restaurant, like facing Jefferson. There's like two little seatings right there. It's great for people watching.
Yeah, no, there's actually 3 tables out there.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, whenever the weather's nice, it's a great place to be.
Yeah, it's a great little spot. That was the first place that I ever had grilled octopus and fell in love with it. Yeah, I was like, why have I not been eating this before? It was actually at a dinner. Jada Cody was coming through town, and I think he was promoting Eat Lafayette at the time. But yeah, I had grilled octopus for the first time and I fell in love with it. So thank you for doing that. Tell us a little bit about your culinary background.
Most of my professional life was worked in New Orleans. I started at Stella. I don't know if you remember what that was. Mm-hmm. That was a pretty nice restaurant. That's kind of where I cut my teeth and learned a lot of what I practice today. I did a little bit of time at Herb Saint and GW Fins in New Orleans. And I moved around a little bit to Destin, Florida, and Chicago. And in Chicago, I realized that it was time to come home. And here we are.
How long have you been at Pamplona?
Almost 5 years.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you've been there a while.
Yeah. I mean, I've been the executive chef for a little over 2 years, I think. Because whenever I went there, I was kind of burned out on being a chef. And I was just like, give me the job with the least amount of responsibility. So I made salads for a year. And then finally, like that, being burnt out on it kind of wore off. And I was like, all right, now it's time to go. So
you're ready to get back into it. What are some of the most popular dishes on the menu there?
Definitely the bacon wrap dates. Everybody knows about the duck fat fries now. The tuna that we do with the shoe pick caviar butter, it sells really well, which is cool because it's kind of adventurous for the people in Lafayette. Definitely buying it up. Paella, we sell a lot of paella. We're the only people around doing that, so people get into it.
And they have to order that at the beginning of the meal, right? Because it takes some preparation.
People that know will actually call in before they even come.
To get it, yeah.
It takes a while to make. We're making, rice from scratch.
I got chocolate churros there because that was one of the dessert items the last time I went there. And I would have never ordered that because I was kind of like, eh. It was so good. Is that still on the menu?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. People in South Louisiana definitely like their fried
churros.
Yeah, full fried batter of any sort.
Right.
Whether it's beignets or churros,
Okay, so Pamplona kind of has like a set menu, and you get to do the specials. Do you like that they have like the set menu, and you can kind of highlight different things? I know a lot of times for like y'all have different lunch specials every day.
Yeah, that's a big thing that a lot of people don't know about is we have 2 lunch specials every day for $9.95.
Yeah, and it's really affordable.
Yeah, and I mean, I make them from scratch, so they're good. It's a good meal. It's good for you. And it comes with a side salad. I feel like people should be taking more advantage of that.
And y'all are on Waiter now, too.
We are on Waiter, yeah.
Yeah. Do y'all get a lot of Waiter orders?
I don't know how to compare that.
Yeah.
What a lot is, but we definitely get some. It's a part of our business now, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like maybe some of the things wouldn't maybe the paella would be good to get that's a battle that I'm sure a lot of chefs around town battle. Things.
I'm sure Ryan does too. It's like,
Ryan, would you like to comment on that?
How do you design food to put in the box?
Right.
To-go food's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it's a thing that you have to do, but it's not something that I necessarily enjoy doing.
Well, you have an option to do some of the things not for to-go orders, right?
We limit the menu on Waiter a little bit, just because some of those things just won't travel.
Yeah.
We don't want people hoping for something and then getting something else.
We actually had a conversation about this a few weeks ago on the show about a potential virtual restaurant that was in town, and I kind of felt like it was a breakfast brunch spot, and I was like, I don't think breakfast should be delivered. I feel like that's not going to transport well. Not everything transports well.
It doesn't. Actually, now that we mentioned Waiter, I had a lady order off of Waiter from New Iberia, and she ordered her Waiter. She picked it up at the restaurant. This is from Darkaroo. Whenever I owned Darkaroo, she picked it up, drove home to New Iberia. She got home and she called the restaurant demanding her money back because her poached eggs were cold. And it's like a 50-minute drive. So it's like,
I'm sure overcooked. You're basically putting it in an oven.
Yeah.
I appreciate and love Waiter. It allows me to be a hermit and not leave my house. But I also know that some things you should not order to go. And there's also a debate out there about hamburgers that some people feel like a hamburger shouldn't be a to-go order from a restaurant or not. I disagree with that. I love a good hamburger, but French fries sometimes too, even by the time you get it home, kind of lose something with it. But I definitely don't think breakfast. You shouldn't
order any fried food off of Waiter.
Yeah. All right, I agree with you. Okay, so when you guys have days off, because I know you guys do get them sometimes, what are some of your favorite restaurants to eat at around town?
I've actually been to Blue Dog twice now that Ryan's changed things over. I know Jacques pretty well too, so it's kind of a family atmosphere. My daughter actually loves the catfish.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I go to Pamplona. I like to support people. You know what I mean? So Kris is a very nice guy. I love Holly at Charlie G's. Definitely go to Pops and Central to support Colin, and our old mixologist Paige is now the general manager over there at Central.
Her Friday night.
So, yeah. For me, it's about food and people. So those 3 or 4 places I love to frequent, and the food and the drinks at Pamplona are killer. So it's I love to go there.
Kris, I'm going to put you on the spot for a minute because you've never been on the show. So I typically will ask chefs that come on the show quick fire questions to kind of get your response. What is your post shift drink?
High Life and Jameson.
Okay, that's pretty common. What would your death row meal be?
I don't know why I'd ever be on death row, but
Okay, just think if the world is ending, you've gotten notice. What is your last meal that you would want to eat on Earth?
Probably boiled crawfish.
Okay, I think that's the first time that someone said that one. That's a good one.
If I had to go, that's what I want.
Cajun or Vietnamese?
Oh, come on, man. It's Cajun.
In case you didn't hear, because Ryan wasn't on the mic, he asked Cajun or Vietnamese style, and he said Cajun. Favorite boudin? Who makes your favorite boudin?
Johnson's.
Okay. Must-have kitchen tool?
Probably a flat fish spatula. One of mine.
Okay.
And a good chef's knife, of course.
Okay. Flat. Okay, no, that makes total sense. Why doesn't every kitchen have one of those to flip fish? I'm just thinking about that now.
It works for a whole number of things, and it's lightweight. You can tuck it in places, and you keep it out of the way. It's very handy.
What has been the highlight of your culinary career thus far?
Whenever I was at Stella, we did a week-long dinner with Iron Chef Sakai. And so he was in our kitchen for a week, him and his sous chef and the TV crew from Japan. And I got to tell you, that was one of the craziest experiences ever. I don't think that guy actually walks. I think he kind of just floats around the kitchen.
So, being that you lived in Chicago for a while, what are your thoughts on Chicago-style deep dish pizza?
I don't like it.
Yeah?
No.
Did you eat a lot of it?
No, because I'm a crispy bread kind of a person.
Do you like the thin crust?
I don't like all that. There's too much going on there.
Yeah. Rob Kirkpatrick came on the show one time, and he went to Chicago, and they actually did like a deep dish pizza cooking class. And it was interesting to see like how you position the toppings was like how it would cook. Because if you wanted it cooked a certain way, it would go inside the pizza, or if you wanted it cooked another way, it would go on top of it. It's like a whole science kind of experience.
I'd imagine cooking that, that volume is like a baking, then baking is a science for sure.
I don't see the appeal of it. I want to try it.
Is it actually pizza or is it pie?
Oh, that's a good, or a calzone. Might as well just have a calzone.
No, that's pizza.
I don't see the appeal of it. And then I want to try Detroit style pizza. Like that's another style of pizza.
Yeah.
And then also Denver apparently has a style of pizza. Everywhere has a style of pizza now. Who has your favorite pizza in town? Again,
favorite pizza in town? Anthony's. Let's say Anthony's.
Really? I don't think I've ever had pizza from there.
Oh, you got to.
I'm gonna have to check it out then.
Yeah, they do a good job.
See, I had a follower a few weeks ago ask me about a pizza place in town, and I was like, "Look, I'm the worst judge for pizza because I kind of feel like every pizza has a place, except for maybe deep dish. Although I would still try it to see it because I've never had it, so I would definitely still try it. But I kind of felt I was like, look, every pizza has a place, except for most frozen pizzas. Although you can find some good frozen pizzas out there too, but I like different pizza places for different reasons. I was like, so I'm the worst person to ask on, what my favorite pizza is in town because it's hard.
I've been on a Central kick lately, because like I said, it's about people for me, and like I love Colin, super cool dude, and I think he needs to be supported.
We went there Friday night, and we got the Curly Sue, and I love their pepperonis. Like, I love their pepperonis. I'm just going to say I'm a pepperoni fan, and I like that is an option on a pizza. That doesn't mean I don't like other pizza places in town that do not offer pepperoni on a pizza. I'm just saying that I'm American, and this American likes pepperoni pizzas. All right, we have about like 2 minutes and 10 seconds left before the show ends. So why should we eat Lafayette? Why should we eat Lafayette at Pamplona's?
It's just support a local program. Like I said, keeping our economy within each other is definitely the way to go. And I mean, Eat Lafayette campaign, like you said, it's a campaign. It's all summer long, 3 months.
But we should do it year round.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Ryan, why should we eat Lafayette at Blue Dog?
I mean, for all the same reasons, we want people to stay. I find the summer months are a lot slower. A lot of people leave town for a very long time. So supporting your local restaurants for these 3 months is more important than ever. And, to have fun, why get food at home, whenever you can go out and experience dining out at a restaurant is all about going and having a good time and conversing. And I've always been a big person who preaches, whenever you come to a restaurant, don't order your own food. Order a bunch of stuff and share it, So, come and have a good time and have some drinks and pass some food around and inspire good conversation and support local.
All right, Ryan and Kris, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure. All right, that's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Join us next week, Sunday at 6 p.m. This is Tiffiany Daku on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, and this is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy eating, Acadiana.